You know, we're always told to be good, but what if that's the very thing stopping us from being our true selves? Today, we're diving into the pretty radical ideas of Osho. He believed that from the moment we're born, society starts this whole process of, well, dimming our inner light. We're going to look at the paradise he says we lose, the prison we don't even know we're building, and his path back to who we were always meant to be. Okay, so let's start with a story Osho told that just gets right to the heart of this. A mother is sending her son off to a party, and she says, "Now, have a good time, and be good." And the child's reply is just pure genius. He says, "Mom, you gotta decide. Should I have a good time, or should I be good?" This little story perfectly captures the huge conflict that Osho says society puts on us from day one. It's like you can have joy, or you can have approval, but you're taught you can't possibly have both.
So, what is this state that we supposedly lose? Osho calls it the child's original paradise. And his argument is pretty profound. Every single one of us is born into this state of pure consciousness, just full of wonder and joy. It's a paradise that, he says, most intelligent adults spend the rest of their lives desperately trying to get back to.
Osho really breaks down this paradise into three core qualities that we're all born with. First, there's joy. And he doesn't mean happiness, which kind of depends on other people or things. This is a natural, bubbling up playfulness from within. Then there's intelligence, not about IQ scores or being book smart, but a pure, unfiltered awareness of the world, seeing it as it truly is. And finally, innocence, which is this amazing freedom of having no past to weigh you down, just a future to create. And here's a really important distinction he makes. This isn't about being childish, it's about being childlike, holding on to these incredible core qualities.
And this right here is one of Osho's most critical points. He draws this huge distinction between our innate intelligence and acquired knowledge. See, intelligence is like a light from within. It's alive, it's curious, it's even a little rebellious. It sees everything with a sense of wonder. But acquired knowledge, that's just a layer of information that gets piled on top of us. It can be hard, obedient, mechanical. It makes us see the world through all these pre-approved filters. As Osho puts it, one is a fragrant flower and the other is a heavy stone.
This little story just perfectly shows that pure intelligence in action. An adult asks the child, "What time is it?" The child looks up and says, "Why do you need to know? It's always changing anyway," right? For the adult, time is this rigid, fixed thing. But for the child, it's a living, flowing reality. That's the kind of raw, unfiltered perception we all start out with. So if we are all born into this incredible paradise, where does it all go wrong? Well, this brings us to what Osho called the prison of conditioning, this systematic, step-by-step process where society basically dismantles our true nature piece by piece. And the main tool used to build this prison? It's the ego. Osho describes it as this thick, dark layer that society helps us build all around our natural intelligence. Now, it starts out as a necessary defense mechanism, right? You need it to survive in a competitive world. But he argues that protective shell eventually becomes a prison. It completely cuts us off from who we really are. So how exactly is this prison built? Osho lays it out in 4 basic steps. First, our natural joy gets suppressed. We hear, behave yourself, be serious, stop laughing. Then, our intelligence gets replaced with knowledge. We get rewarded for memorizing facts, not for asking tough, authentic questions. This forces us to build an ego, a kind of mask, just to feel like we fit in and are accepted. And finally, we learn a simple lesson. Obedience gets you praise, but your authentic rebellious spirit, that gets you punished. It's like a factory designed to create predictable, manageable adults. And this just creates this deep internal war. Society demands obedience, but our true nature is rebellion. It demands conformity, but we're born authentic. It wants seriousness, but our very essence is joy. So what happens? Society helps us craft a personality, which, by the way, comes from the Latin word persona, which means mask. And we use that mask to hide our true individuality, our real face. Now, Osho really zeroes in on one area where this conditioning is the most intense and, he argues, the most damaging. He calls it sexuality the first wound. His point is that society's very first and most powerful no is aimed directly at a child's natural exploration of their own body, and that no creates a deep, lifelong scar. According to Osho's model, if we were just left alone, our sexuality would unfold naturally in 3 stages. It starts with what he called autosexuality, this totally innocent discovery and love of your own body. From there, it would naturally move into a homosexual phase, which for him meant connecting with those who are similar to us, like close friends of the same gender. He saw this as a bridge to understanding other people. And only after you've mastered love for yourself and for those who are similar could you mature into heterosexuality, a state where you're really ready to embrace the mystery of the other. For him, this was the healthy, natural path.
But here's the kicker. Society, he says, driven by its own deep-seated fears and guilt around sexuality, doesn't let this journey happen. It comes in and violently interrupts the whole process right at stage one, at that very first moment of innocent self-discovery.
And the consequences of this interruption? He argues they're absolutely devastating. Guilt gets hardwired into our relationship with our own bodies. Our natural curiosity twists into shame, and that forces us to lie and hide huge parts of ourselves. Osho believed that this single act gets so many people psychologically stuck, creating lifelong obsessions and blocking the natural flow of our most vital life energy.
Okay, so after that pretty intense diagnosis of the problem, what's the solution? What's the alternative? Well, Osho's vision for parenting the new human isn't just a list of tips for raising kids. It's really a radical call for us, the adults, to find our own way back to the paradise we lost.
But before he offers a solution, Osho starts with a really challenging question. And it's not for our kids, it's for us. As adults who have already been conditioned, are we even capable of giving our children the freedom that we ourselves have already lost? It's a tough one.
For Osho, conscious parenting is all about radical non-interference. It means your job is to be a guardian, someone who protects the space for a child to grow, not a sculptor trying to shape them into some image you have in your head. It means you don't impose your religion, your politics, your own unfulfilled dreams onto them. Your real role is to help them ask better questions, not to just hand them your old answers. And you have to remember this, he says, the child is a guest, a visitor who arrives through you but never ever belongs to you.
And this just completely flips the whole parent-child dynamic on its head. Osho says, a more beautiful world will be one where every family learns from its children. You are in such a hurry to teach them. It seems no one is learning from them, and they have so much to teach. The idea is that we, the conditioned adults, are actually the ones who need to be re-educated by the authentic, raw intelligence of a child.
Which brings us to the final, really provocative takeaway from all of this. The ultimate question Osho leaves us with isn't really about how to raise our children better. It's about how we can unraise ourselves. How can we, as adults, start to dismantle our own prisons of conditioning so that we can rediscover that original face, that authentic self we were all born with? That, he suggests, is the real journey.